Hey Glen Cove Stars, Coach Hernandez here again with another health lesson. And this week's topic, we're talking about drugs. The main points that we're going to be talking about are, what are drugs? What kind are there? What can it do to your body? Why do people do them in the first place? And how to safely take medicine when you're at home. So the first point we're going to discuss is, what are drugs? Now, drugs are anything that is made in a lab, in a science lab, at somebody's backyard, in somebody's home, something that somebody made that's not natural from the ground, that can affect your mind and your body in a not positive way. So something that affects your mind and your body negatively, okay? Now, there are all different kinds of drugs out there. The ones that are most common to you that you've probably heard of or seen are cigarettes, vaping, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, tobacco, marijuana, prescription pills that you get from a doctor, and also medicines like cough syrup, vitamins, things that you usually take that are good for your body. But those things can also be considered drugs if you don't use them properly. Now, let's talk a little bit about each one of those, okay? Previously in our before health lessons, we've talked about cigarettes and vaping, how they're bad for you and they contain things like nicotine and other chemicals that can negatively harm your body. They can also do damage to your mouth, your teeth, your breath, your tongue. They can do a lot of damage to your body. However, they also affect your mind and your brain, okay? Your reaction time's a little bit slower, your body gets a little bit different because you're a little bit more tired all the time. So those are things that can happen with cigarettes and vaping. Now, let's talk about prescription pills. Things that your doctor gives your mom and dad maybe when they need it because they're sick, or you've probably seen those little bottles that maybe your grandparents have also at home that they take for medicine. Those type of pills, those can be considered drugs when people use them the wrong way. When people take too many than what the doctor has asked for. If the doctor only asks you to take one and you take 5, then it can really negatively harm your body instead of help your body. So you have to be very careful when it comes to taking medicine that a doctor gives you. Also, how many of you have ever been sick? I know I have. And if you've gone to the doctor before, sometimes the doctor gives you medicine like a big bottle of cough syrup. That can also be considered a drug if you don't use it correctly. All right? If you drink too much of it too often, it can hurt your body, it can hurt your stomach, it can hurt your head, it can make you feel really bad instead of helping. Now, we're going to talk about why people even do drugs or why people even take drugs. And the number one reason that people do drugs is because of their friends. Because their friends pressure them into making them do drugs. Sometimes it could be pressure as in, you're not cool if you don't do this with us, which is not a very good friend. But that's the number one reason why people do drugs. They do cigarettes, vaping, they take pills the way they're not supposed to take pills, or medicines the way they're not supposed to take it, usually because their friends are doing the same. Another reason is sometimes family members. You see other family members doing it, so you want to do the same thing, even if it's not good for you, okay? Another reason can be on TV or social media or video games. You see them using it in video games, social media, or on TV, and you think anybody can use it. That's not the case. You shouldn't use drugs just because somebody else is doing drugs, all right? Now, what can happen to your body if you do drugs? Well, I've already mentioned before that it affects your brain and it affects your body in a negative way. Your brain needs oxygen and needs nutrition to grow and to function normally. How many of you have ever slept really, really bad at night? You didn't really get much sleep. Maybe you had a nightmare. Maybe you couldn't sleep because you were sick. And in the morning, you felt really, really tired and your head hurt. When you sleep, your body rests and your brain gets oxygen to the brain because your body's working correctly. When your body's not working correctly and it doesn't allow oxygen to go to your brain hurts. Oh, you got a headache, your head's hurting, and you don't feel too good. When you do drugs, you're constantly taking away oxygen from your brain. Your brain also has billions and billions of cells in your brain that help you think, that help your body function. And when you do cigarettes, every time you do a drug, the way you're not supposed to, you are killing brain cells in your brain. So it really, really negatively affects your brain. It also negatively affects your body. You can become really, really tired and fatigued. You can become you can hurt your heart, you can hurt your kidneys, you can hurt your lungs, you can hurt different organs in your body when you do drugs. We've already talked about how you can hurt your heart, how you can hurt your lungs with just smoking. But if you do other drugs with that, then you can really, really do damage to your body for a very, very long time. Now, all of this negative talk about drugs, there are drugs that help you and keep you safe or keep you, get you well from being sick. And those are your medicines that you get from a doctor, pills that you get from a doctor, or vitamins. But the big thing with those is you need to use them correctly. Now, how many of you have parents or grandparents, aunts or uncles that have medicine at your house? Either in a little bottle that looks like for pills, or cough medicine, vitamins, or other things like that. I know I do. You are only supposed to take your medicine, not anybody else's. You're not supposed to use your mom's vitamins or your dad's vitamins. You're not supposed to take the medicine for your mom's headache or anything like that. It is only for them. You can take your medicines or your vitamins that are for you safely by making sure that your parents know the correct amount that you need to take and when you need to take them. Sometimes you don't need to take medicine every day. Sometimes maybe it's just once a day. But your parents would know that, so you are not allowed to take medicines unless it's with the parent's permission and the correct amount that they tell you. Because if you take somebody else's medicine, then you can do really, really bad harm to your body. Adult medicine for adults is not meant for children. Okay, so it's not meant for you guys. Now, if you take adult medicine, then you could be really in trouble. So you need to be very careful about what you're using and what you're taking at home. Okay, now, that is our discussion on drugs. Hopefully, you guys got a little bit more information. Now, hopefully you also paid attention because we're going to be doing a Kahoot tomorrow. So if you need to rewatch this video, go back and do so. All right? We'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day.